Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio controlled. And now, your host,
Folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCxRC himself, Tony CC.
Hey, what's going on, friends? Another episode of While My Batteries Charge coming at you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on when you watch or you listen to this. We're starting to do these now just as a recording as well for those of you that just want to put it on the YouTubes and maybe glance up or down or whatever every once in a while. We thought we'd just give you options. So we're moving forward with this podcast. We've had a lot of requests for it. And like I said, we're going to keep going. But there is some big news. There's some big news coming down this way as well. In that, I'm going to be having a lot more time to be working on stuff for CCxRC for the time being. So we're going to be jumping back in with lots of content, you guys. And we'll see how long we can make it happen. I am kind of in between jobs at the moment. And so, yeah, if I can make this thing kind of kick off enough to kind of fill in the gaps for our family, then we'll keep rolling with it like we used to do. And then we'll see. But because of that, I'm going to, jump right in. We're going to be talking about a few things here. We're going to talk about the new LMT 2.0 because there's been so many questions asked about this from me for the past, say, a year, asking when it's coming. Got even more questions when the 1.0 got discontinued and kind of, scared some people. And yeah, so lots to talk about that. And also we're going to be talking about the Robsky Fabrications kit that they've got. It's a, what's it called? It's their upgrade kit for the SCX24, and it basically some bolt-on stuff to just make it better, which is pretty cool, especially if class regulations require you to run a stock chassis without modifying the chassis itself. So we'll talk about that, and those are the two things that I want to kind of get through today. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on here and moving forward with CCxRC. The goal was never to end it. And the real thing was that I didn't have a whole lot of time. I was working, and I was working for a church and loving it, and doing all the things there with my family. And so we spent a lot of time doing stuff. So you when your family's involved in that and it's kind of your work as well, you really pump into it and dive into it. And so, I was seeing that we were, spending time as a family and doing all this stuff. And, I just did not have the time to do as much RC stuff as I did in the past. I was still doing the comps and I was still doing the mini stuff. And I was bashing a little bit, but not that much, honestly, even in the summers, just because, the time that I did have that wasn't doing work stuff, which was about 60 hours a week, would be done doing the things that the boys wanted to do, whether it's taking them fishing while we had great weather or disc golfing. We love disc golfing, and I still want to find a way to blend the two hobbies together because you end up in so many cool places. Honestly, all three. I could see going on a fishing trip that involved taking my other son's disc golf stuff, and we would go out, different areas, find different lakes, fish them, make that part of it, then go hit some disc golf in that area, and then also RC. So I could see doing like all of it at one time, and it would be, for me, the most amazing trip ever. Plus, I'd be kind of investing in kind of the interests of the kids as well and what they're interested in. And that's when you have kids, they're getting older, and one of them just got his own license. So we know they're going to be out of the house more. And so we're trying to get the time that we can have. But that also frees up some stuff to me where I was driving them around, and it meant that I couldn't be doing something that I wanted to be doing because I was taking them to, a friend's or to whatever, and then hanging out and waiting. And I'd actually meet up with Travis sometimes when I do that. I'd drive way out there, and it was in the direction my buddy Travis is, who's an RC guy, and I'd drop stuff off with him. I'd go and check out stuff he's working on with RC. And I can't wait. I need to do some videos with him showing some more. We did one showing one of the things that he 3D printed and built that was super cool, the skid steer. And now he's got an excavator and some cool stuff. He's working on one of the snowmobiles, and he's just always busy with RC stuff. So I could see videos coming on that. Plus, they've been doing and debuting their Penguin chassis for the SCX24s. You've probably, I think it's been on Cave Crawlers now and 24. Yep. And it's doing well, which is also running some of my Pine Tree inserts. Just kind of slide that in there. It's, it's handling well. Some of it's the chassis, some of it's whatever. Those inserts are doing pretty good in there too. Rocking the scramblers. I'm telling you what, people are deniers, but the Scrambler is the number one 24 tire out there. I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to drop that ball again. You guys love when I do it. So Scramblers for life, hashtag. All right. So there's some changes. As I've stepped away from that, I know I've got to put it into high gear here and see if this is something that can become, my wife has a great job. She's had a great job over the years. But it's not enough with how far my YouTube and stuff has fallen. It was always enough that I could just focus on this and bring you guys content with the, no cost to any of this, the podcast and all this stuff. And, I've invested in a lot of equipment, but that was just because I wanted to do this. It's fun. It's a kind of a hobby on its own, right? Doing all the podcasting and all that. So videos and having fun with the RCs. They're all kind of little hobby things. And I work hard at everything I do. That last job, I worked hard. I've worked hard everywhere I've worked. And so when I, brought that into the YouTube and the parts and stuff that we were selling, I was working hard. I was hustling even then. Just to, for the amount that you put in, I'm not making anywhere near what I should be. You hear some of the other guys saying like what numbers they'd need in order to do it full time. The only reason that I'm able to even think about doing it full time is because my wife has a great job currently. So I just need to have that supplemental stuff. So I'm actually spending way more time and effort than I should for the amount that it brings in. But because we love doing it, like we've had fun, our family with all of this, it's been great. And so if I can get it to just enough, then we'll kind of see what we can do as far as, keeping it going. But if not, I'll have to look and see how else I'll supplement it. But so I hinted at the Pine Trees. I don't like to advertise my stuff, but definitely check out CCxRC.com. There's some stuff on there that, if you're interested in, we may try and fire some of that up again. But I would limit it, to some of the stuff. The 24 scale has grown so much, and people are coming out with so many crazy things. It's one of those things I can't invest the time in that and chase that and still do the YouTube and the other content if we're trying to pump out new stuff and all that all the time. So I have to make choices, and I feel like more people are served by some of the content and the entertainment side of it. So all of that's gonna actually bring me to something else that's interesting. We're gonna talk about the Losi. Don't you worry. I've got a page pulled up here for those people watching. Those of you who are listening, I'll try not to talk about things that I'm seeing on the page. I'm just gonna use it for reference, and as I'm talking about parts or different things that they've added, it shouldn't change for you because that's how I did it before, and I'd have just kind of little guides that I'd be looking at. But we will be pulling it up for the people watching here on the video to be able to watch. So there's a couple things that I'm doing. I did add a membership to my YouTube. You don't have to choose it. I love that it's free for people that want to watch. And that's what I mainly watch. Because of this, I've canceled a bunch of subscriptions and stuff that I'm a part of. Like our TV, our cable, we just got rid of it. So YouTube TV gone. Some of the other stuff like subscriptions that I had for editing and all that aren't necessary, gone, just so I can try and make this a little bit more viable. But I watch YouTube anyway. That's what I choose to watch as the content that I prefer. There's, from fishing adventures to camping stuff to music to RC to all of it. That's what I end up watching. I just watch people doing people stuff, and it's more entertainment to me than these whack jobs out in Hollywood putting out stupid content that I don't want to watch anyway, and I don't really want my family watching. So so here we are watching your guys' stuff. But I do want to say, like, I have recently really gotten back into the RC Spark stuff, which is crazy because that's what got me into the hobby many years ago, was watching his stuff. And man, just the fun that he'd have and the adventures that he'd go on um, was so cool. And and then he stepped aside for a little bit, but he's brought it back. And the stuff that he's been doing, he's been making the wood pile, and I don't know, I just have been enjoying it. It doesn't feel like he's selling us anything. Like, it's just content, and he's creating crazy Dear John tractor things and trying to crawl rocks with it, or things that capo that wasn't really capable of the rocks, but he just let you see what happened and was having fun with RCs, whether it's capable or not, instead of trying to hide stuff and make it look like, one, you're a good driver, or two, the parts that you're trying to sell are great. And so I just so much of what is going on now just feels like advertising. And I love that what he's been doing has felt less like that and just like having fun with RC again. So I would love to be able to do more of that. We're going to just be having fun with a lot of what we have. So because the money that I'm going to be making from this is really going to just go toward paying bills and things that I have, and that I've got to pay for. So anyway, I just want to let you know that you can go ahead and I'm going to pull this up for people watching and show you how you can do it. One, you can go to CCxRC here. Oops, let me try this a different way. And you can check it out there, or you can check out the things on the website that you might be interested in, or you can go to the YouTube channel and hit subscribe, which is one helpful to do. Be a subscriber. We're almost to 70,000 subscribers. It's taken us a long time to get to there. And then there's also this join. If you hit this join, you can see we're only offering the lowest option that they have. I don't see any point in limiting what people that pay would get and then having different tiers where you get more. I figure if you're willing to pay anything that they offer through this, that at that lowest price point, you should get whatever it is that I want to offer to people. So that gets you member only live streams. We'll probably actually start live streaming these while my battery's charged. That's one of the things I was thinking about doing, is making this a live stream so you can watch it as we're doing it. I probably won't be watching the comments on it because it is more of a podcast and I'm trying to keep the thoughts and stuff rolling. But if you want to watch and see where I pause or stop or make mistakes, or just hear it while it's happening, then you could be a part of that. That's still kind of up in the air, but there will be other live streams. I'm not sure too how I want to do it, but it would probably be either like a before or after, probably before the Talk Your Face Off one with Pablo goes live, because well, it's really late. we start so late for us East Coasters in order to allow for Pablo to get home and spend a little time doing whatever with his family before he jumps on. Because it really, if we're starting at 10, at 7 o'clock his time, so he's just finished up dinner or whatever he's doing. If we're at 9, it would be like pushing it, which is when we used to start. Or even 8. If we started at 8, it'd be, he wouldn't even be home from work. So we're trying to make that be something that we can do together still. But I will probably either do a before or after on that, where we can just kind of chit chat and really focus on questions that people have, or just shoot the breeze and see what happens. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at, and those will kind of, more things will happen as more people join. But yeah, it'll prioritize your comments. There'll be some members only videos, probably some even saying like, hey, I'm going up to Walter RC Park on this day. If you're local here and want to join up, just so you know, you're in the know that way. So anyway, that kind of stuff will be happening. And that's just kind of one thing I'm doing to try and make this go a little bit further. So yeah. So anyway, that's just one thing. Now let's talk on some other stuff. Let's talk about the Losi LMT 2.0. Man, am I excited about this thing, you guys. You know, it was a long time coming. I love that it was so good that the version 1.0 lasted as long as it did before they really kind of revamped it here. Because one, people were invested in it. It gave other companies time to kind of get in on things without being like, oh, anytime we jump in, they change it. And now our parts don't work anymore. And, it makes it hard for everybody if things change too rapidly. And it's not so bad that it needs to change. The axles were better than a lot of solid axles that were available at the time, but the other ones were easier to brace and make better than the ones that were on it, and so they were a little problematic, but there was full aluminum options that were available and could, for those people that want to go crazy, they could add them. But for most racing and stuff, the axles were just fine. So some of the other changes we'll get into here, but man, I am just excited that they've got that thing out now and it can be talked about, and um, it's ready to go. And it's going to be out here. It's going to be in hands in just 2 days, I believe, April 17th. So we will talk a little bit about cost. I have not pre-ordered one. The cost is steep. It's $750. I see the value in it. Whether or not people do, they can make that decision for themselves. But I see value in it, and I think it's really, really cool. Do I wish I had one coming? Sure do. But given everything else that we just talked about, it's not something that's in the cards currently. But we'll be looking into options, especially now that they have that receiver listed as well, and it will pair with their ESC and allow these tricks, these drive settings to be available, maybe even for the 1.0s by switching out a few components, and that might be a cheaper option for me. But there's a lot more than that they've done to this. The freestyle mode is insane in it. The nose wheelies that you can do, the moonwalks, the bicycles, the stoppies, and just it's so good. And as people have time with it, I think the tricks that we're going to see are just going to continue to get better and better. And the best part is that it looks realistic and it doesn't feel gimmicky. I'd kind of heard a little bit through the grapevine about this, and I was like, man, this is going to be gimmicky. If they're using some of the motorcycle tech, it's going to be so big in there, and like racers won't want these things. But because it's just the ESC and the receiver working together to do instant reverse and instant forward, it's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. It's not gimmicky. So congratulations to whoever was, the people behind creating this tech and writing whatever code and figuring out how to do it. I mean, this is insane stuff that you figured out how to do. And it's definitely taking it to the next level. But it doesn't start there. New wheels and tires. They got rid of that like short course style tire with the bigger inner diameter than the outer diameter, in order to have clearances. They chose to go longer with it and wider, and the tires are bigger. So, uh, it doesn't really fit in some of the race leagues now because of that, unless they've changed their rules. Because I know that was a thing with the LMT, TLR kit, and that was a thing with the King Slings for length. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know where that all stands, and I don't really care, because there's really not many other options out right now. So, uh, you know, they are keeping this alive. And if leagues aren't kind of moving with them, then they're going to fall behind as well. So this is kind of where things are going. And people are going to be developing off of this, and they're still going to be creating their own custom stuff. But as the options get slimmer and slimmer, the rules are going to have to bend a little bit in order to, or be modified, I think, in order to bring this in. It's just bigger. Everything about it's bigger. Um, and it just makes it super drivable. But we have an awesome platform to build off of now to create race leagues and custom stuff, and so that's a huge bonus. But yeah, so I don't say that like I don't care or whatever about how racing goes and whatever. We've had time, we've seen it. Other things have dropped out or not been great. And this is the one that's kind of been keeping things going and is an out of the box, fast, capable truck. So overview wise, features wise, let's talk about some of the things that are different. The new shocks are awesome looking. We've seen that there's been some issues with some leaking and all that happening. I think racers are going to get rid of them no matter what. They want the quick tunability, but the scale people, for you and getting something out of the box, this is amazing. They look fantastic. And they look actually pretty capable from what I've seen and what people, I mean, they've been abusing them and they're doing all right. Internal springs makes it a little bit harder for tuning and things like that. But again, a lot of us, I never tuned my shocks off of the original either. In fact, I probably have almost zero oil in them left because of them leaking out as well. But it handles how I like it. And it's just, I've gotten used to it. So they've got the wheelie bump now, which I like. The 2.6 officially licensed BKT tires. The bead lock and all that looks really cool on it, but the tread pattern and all that look nice. The last ones are pretty aggressive. These ones look a little bit better. And so, yeah, it's looking really good. They've now powder coated the chassis or painted them or whatever they've done. It's powder coated. Okay, I just missed it, but yeah, so powder coated chassis to the color of the cages is going to make some people happy. Some people are going to be, a little annoyed because it's just more work for them if they want to do custom trucks. So, yeah, it's a win and a and a bummer, unless they come out with another one that'll be more of a generic black one. But they tried the kits with the 1.0, didn't do super well because everyone's like, I get a better deal when I buy the RTR and then just sell everything, and I make money back, and then it's cheaper to actually buy the RTR. So they can't win. We want one thing, and then we tell them we want it, but then we buy something else. And yeah, so that's where that stands. I think the powder coating on them looks pretty awesome. They do have new radios in order to handle all that freestyle modes and all that with the switches. And but yeah, longer and wider footprint. And they've redone the diffs. I don't know if it's because of some of the trick moves and all that. But it's a larger cup in it, so they've got more capacity for the fluids in it and things. The biggest thing that I see that I think is going to be a huge improvement is they've gone with a 2-piece solid front and rear axle housing. Now, they say it was like 2-piece instead of 4 or whatever. I don't remember what the last one they called, but the last one had a lot of pieces. There was 2-piece. It was one solid piece on the outside, then the inside had 3 pieces, but then you had 2 more pieces that were the lower link mounts. And with this, those things are all molded in, and I think it's going to be a lot stronger because we used to, that piece on the lower 4 links would just rip out on a hard landing. The screws would just pull out. That was a big break point. But then also that inner part where the center met the outer 2 edges just cracked and chipped, and it was just problematic. So this is a huge upgrade, and I hope to see that they're super strong. I have a feeling they're gonna be, but until I get to test some and all that, we'll see. Or until I don't even need to test them, until I get to see somebody testing them and running them. I won't know. So those of you that have been waiting, this is a huge upgrade, and it's what you like to see in a V2. They've addressed some of the issues from the V1s, and it looks better. It should perform better, and those are good things. And then you've got the trick modes. It's all pretty cool. Prices on everything has gone up already. But it did, it jumped in price about $100. So you're looking at 750. Some of that's just even in the tech, like that drive stuff. If you just buy that receiver, it's like $130. So you've got some definite cost in that thing, time investment and the coding and all that they had to pay into on the front end of it. Yeah, it's just a more expensive piece, and you're going to see prices go up. Tires are bigger, the chassis is all being powder coated and colorized, and there's some changes in here, and some of it costs some. So yeah, so that's it on the LMT. I'm trying to decide how much RC monster truck content I want to get back into. I think I do want to start running them again. I'm hoping to find some money to get down to Horizon RC Fest and maybe do some racing there. I'd love to do it again. I won't be great. I haven't run them in forever, but man, it'd be fun to just jump back in and do it and hang out with everybody and have a good time. So hopefully I can find some money to get down there and do it. And I should have the time off now. So that should be good. But yeah, we'll see. There's other events I want to get to and different things I want to do. And yeah, we'll be looking over our budget pretty close here the next couple months, see how things work and what we're looking at moving forward. But I do thank you guys for sticking around. And it's crazy, when I still do post videos, the engagement has been up. It's been crazy. And so I do thank you for that. And man, I just, want to do the best for you guys. It's, my kind of thing is I want to do things well, and I want to do things with excellence. And I, even just the community in the hanging out, and I want to do that well and figure out how we can make it work and keep this thing, charge into the future. But man, it's an exciting time. There's some of it's like, it's tough, thinking about, I'm older now. I'm not as hireable and a lot of things. But and I'm limited in my qualifications because of how I've spent my time. If I can't find a video job, there's, I'd be limited in what I could do in some of the other areas because, I've spent so much time doing this, but everybody's doing it now. And so it's a hard field to jump back into. And, most of my contacts weren't here in Michigan. And so it'll be a jump if I have to try and figure out how to get into it here, but we'll see. We'll see. Next thing I wanted to talk about, and this came to me a little bit ago. He asked if I wanted to take a look at it. And I said, yeah, man, this is one thing I'm still into at the time. Cause I'd really shut down doing a lot of reviews out of respect for companies. Like I can't get to things very quickly. And even this, I'm about 3 weeks behind on where I wanted to be with getting it done. But I had a S6E4 sitting in the box, brand new, that I'd bought when they were on sale. Original one, V1, I think, electronics even. And I said I would throw this stuff on it. But yeah, he's making these upgrade kits for the S6E4 that just bolt on. You don't have to do a whole new chassis. The main thing are having more people want more options for shock mounts. Boom, he's got it. Front and rear. You want the little plates on the side for your electronics and all that. It's got it. So it comes with all the hardware and stuff that you need. It's got the sliders, like I said. And so it's pretty slick. And you just snip them out. That's all you got to do. It comes all as one piece, and you just snip them off and add them on. Pretty slick, pretty simple. But I also got from him the Delton reversible flat skid, Delrin, that can go on there. So he's got that available. So pretty slick little upgrades for the SCX24 from Robsky Fabrication. He's got some really cool stuff that he's working on. He does have chassis kits and other things as well. In fact, his chassis kit, while we're here, let me just show it. It's pretty cool. And they're sold out right now, but on a lot of them. But it's so cool that they're just solid piece. You don't have to screw in your rails and your front and your back parts. They're all bent out of solid pieces. It's just really, really slick. So, yeah, he's been working up some cool stuff for us. And for those of you into the 24 scale, which I'm still very, very into the 24 scale stuff, man, check him out. Robsky Fab, ROBSKII fab.com. Check it out. He's got some bodies and different things as well, links that he makes, and 3D files, etc. So go hit him up, you guys. So this is not going to be a super long episode, just trying to keep them a little bit shorter, probably around the 30-minute range for the time being, and try to get a few more of them out the door for you guys. So you'll have some content to listen to on your way to work or while you're working or whatever the case may be. So, I do definitely appreciate you guys, and I thank you for, man, we've been doing this for quite a long time. I just had something pop up in my Facebook feed showing the first time the CCxRC logo was used, making something in the backyard for a track. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Have fun RCing. We'll catch you next time.